Hey, good afternoon. Pat Ziemer here with MagnaWave, coming to you with another edition of the MagnaWave Office Hours. We try to get here on every Tuesday and have some fun, answer some questions, and just have a good time. And we're glad a lot of folks coming in. Nola's with us, Jeff's with us, Missy's with us this morning from Indiana. Cameron's with us, of course, saying hello. Northern Lights. Tracy's with us. Bob McGregor. Jeanette's with us. So, folks, thank you for being here. Missy, hi. How's everybody doing? And so, just got a couple of things to go over today. We're going to have a giveaway today. We're going to give away a brand new BrainTap device. It's a $645 value on the BrainTap, and that also gives you 15 free days or 15 days free use of the app. And that's all explained how that works. There's a way to get programs, download them and keep them, or you can pay for a monthly subscription, but whatever. It's a $645 value on the BrainTap. We're going to give it away today to people who comment. So if you have a question, put it in the comment box, or if you have a thought that you'd like to share with us, put it in the comment box, say hello, whatever it may be, and you'll be entered to win the BrainTap that we're going to give away later in the program. And what we're going to do is we'll pick a number, and then Tony and the crew will figure out where that number is and who is that number. Now, that is an accumulation of Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So you may be the whatever the number is on YouTube, but you're not necessarily that number when they combine them all three together on the time slots the way they do it. So anyway, it gets a little confusing. But if you want to be entered to win the BrainTap today, $645 value, comment in the section, give me a call and make a comment, and we can have a conversation about whatever it is that you want to talk about it. And that number, if you want to give me a shout to visit today, is 502-414-3436. 502-414-3436, and I'll give you a call back. We can have a nice conversation and answer your questions. All right, let me have a look here. We do have some things to take care of. The business starter class, Elaine's business starter class, is $250, and it's available until this Sunday to get the month's set of classes. Classes will start on Monday and run every Monday for 4 weeks, and they can get tickets to this in the practitioner portal. So if you want to get into business starter class, it starts next Monday, and I need to do that Sunday before Sunday. Okay, MagnaCon tickets are certainly on sale. Virtual and in person are still on sale. You can get those tickets at magnacon.com for tickets to the event. And also, for those of you who are attending virtually, we're going to give away one machine for the virtual ticket participants. So we will have a machine giveaway that will be directed only to the virtual participants. So it's a good thing to get your continuing education, learn a lot of good information. You'll be able to download the videos and the program after the event as well as during the event. So and you're going to get an opportunity to win a machine. For those in attendance, we're going to give away $50,000 plus worth of giveaways in person at the MagnaCon event. So we look forward to you being there. We are about 25 to 30% ahead of every other MagnaCon as far as tickets are concerned this year. So if you want to join us downtown Louisville, on the Ohio River at the Galt House, purchase your tickets today at magnacon.com. A couple of things will be happening that you might find enjoyable. J.D. Shelbourne, a country singer, will be performing Wednesday night at MagnaCon. Again, that's J.D. Shelbourne. Look him up and see how you feel, and he'll be performing Wednesday night at MagnaCon. There's also going to be a riverboat cruise on Friday at MagnaCon. Again, this year, tickets are $10, and they'll be available until they're gone. So if you want to get, and they're also available at magnacon.com, $10 to go on a river cruise on Friday night. That'll be a great time. They'll have a bar, just music, all kinds of things taking place on the cruise on the Ohio River. So go to magnacon.com, buy your tickets for $10. If you want to come to MagnaCon, make your arrangements with the Galt House, buy your tickets, and come on in. We're looking forward to having a great time. Okay, there is one little service issue that we need to talk about. If you have a Semi 10 and you for some reason think you need to clean the filter, don't do it. You clean the filter on the Semi 10 by vacuuming it out or blowing it out with an air compressor. And that's the way to keep the filter cleaned. If you try to unscrew the screws, they're going to fall down into the machine, and then we'll have to come in for service if you do that. So do not attempt to take the filter off of the Semi 10 if you're, as you use it. Blow it out or vacuum it out to keep the filter cleaned. And that's the best way to do it. We'll be having other information coming to you about that, but we want just to make sure that you're aware of that. Okay, let's take a quick look here and see if we've had come back. Now everybody's commenting, which makes it harder for me to keep track of the questions because it keeps jumping around, but that's okay. We can deal with this. Let me see. Kendra's with us today. Sandy's with us. Cheryl's with us. BK, MagnaWave Performance is with us. Vivian, wow, everybody's saying hello and jumping on there. That's great. We're certainly happy that you're with us today. Let's see. Sarah's with us. Jackie and Jet are with us. I would love to know how this machine can help my son with autism. And that's from Mary Beth. Well, Mary Beth, it can help the calming of someone. It can help with the blood flow and help with the oxygenation of the blood. And quite often when you have conditions like that, again, certainly talk to your doctor, but a calming effect, relaxation is very important and can be beneficial to that. And it's just something that can happen. There are some PEMF devices that are used for autism specifically, and they are FDA approved for that. And so we do know that the therapy can be beneficial when you deal with those types of situations. But again, talk with your doctor so he can understand what you're doing or what you'd like to do with your devices for your own family, and get that cleared up so they understand. You want to do everything within the proper confines of what your doctor would recommend. So that is my thought there. Rebecca's with us from New York. Great giveaway coming up. Yep. So everybody's checking in. Is the BrainTap for mental health? What is its purpose? The BrainTap is most certainly for mental health. In fact, when you talk about autism and other situations like that, the BrainTap with their lights and the music as it plays, and there's a picture of it, can be very beneficial to some of those types of conditions and issues that people might experience. But it is for mental health. They use it for athletic training. They use it for mental training to learn how to do something, weight loss, stop smoking, motivation, depression. Many different conditions, many different situations can be helped with the use of BrainTap. And it's a system of lights and sound and verbal communication that goes on to help you stay focused on what you do or what you're doing and how it can apply. So, and those are questions that can be very well answered by our sales professionals or the product specialists here at MagnaWave. But yes, it is very beneficial for many, many different uses. Great question, though. Thank you. Let's see. Issy's with us. All right. Michelle's with us this morning. Need a BrainTap. I need a BrainTap too. I love the BrainTap. I've got my BrainTap and I got the LZR and I got it all. I got my little bus out here all ready to go. And in fact, everybody comes to my joint for the pain party and to feel better. But at any rate, let's see. Would love to have a BrainTap. Okay, just make some comments. Nola's with us. Also, I'm over here setting up my Healing Grace Ambassador program. There you go. Nola's doing that. Well, that's great. Maybe she can call us and tell us a little bit about the Healing Grace Ambassador program. Let's see. Hi from Connecticut, Leslie. Great. Let's go on down here. I could use this, my focus and anxiety. Kendra loves the BrainTap. All right. Let's see if there's not a question that's coming on here. If you buy virtual tickets, do you have to watch it while it is live, or can we watch after work? Michelle, you can watch after work. You can download the videos later on and have them for your viewing weeks and months later, just to continue to learn. So you do not have to be watching it live as it's occurring. You will have access through the app that's available to download them and watch them later in the day. Good question, though. Thank you for, yes, Melissa, we're glad to have you and everyone else attending in person. All right, let's see. Let's see if we got a, okay. Will MagnaWave help with thyroid in an older horse? The horse is okay. Medication. With improved oxygenation, improved blood flow, that's all viable and valuable for the thyroid and other organ issues in the body. So to say that it will, if an animal's having a specific problem directly related to the thyroid, will it approach that? If you talk to your veterinarian and see what they're doing with medication-wise, if that's a thing, and how you want to accentuate something and potentially get a better result, then you can talk with your vet and understand the best way to do that. But all in all, to set the body up to be in a good position to heal itself and to be healthier is a good thing, and MagnaWave can do that. It certainly isn't going to hurt to utilize that on an older animal. Let's see. Good question. Let's see. Good morning. Are there any ways to get continuing education besides MagnaCon in person or virtual? That's a great question. And certainly, if you to have the availability of the talks and all of that stuff online would be, even if we put them in a portal somewhere, you would want to go online, take the classes and do that. That's the way most of the time the continuing education works in many different licensing type or, certification types of programs. So it's available to you certainly after the event. The way that we put it together, package it, plan the event accordingly, and utilize the information for you. So that's why we do it through live event or the virtual. So, but you don't have to be virtual during the event to have access to the materials and to learn from the presentations that are made at the event. Let's see. Great, Nola. It's looking to get a Soul Pro. Let's see. We'll enjoy. I just became a practitioner, but was wondering if I can delay putting a profile up on the website. I have another consulting business that I have to close down before diving into the MagnaWave business. Absolutely. You want to work that out with the training department, call training, talk to Teresa or Carson, and they will understand what you're doing and help you post your information that you want to have. education@magnawavepmf.com. Send them an email, tell them what your thoughts are. They'll respond, get right back to you, and set it up the way you want to. We don't want you to do something that you're not ready to do. You need to do it when you're ready, as you're ready, in the best fashion as you can. You might see me behind me. They got the screen going there with some shamrocks and stuff kind of gearing up, the March being the birthday month. You know how that goes. So we're getting ready to have some fun there. But so that's what's on the screen. Pictures of Ireland and behind me. Okay. Let's see. Check questions here. He's coming to MagnaCon from Kentucky, just down the road. Will there be any other business classes available throughout the rest of the year? Yes, Melissa, there will be. This is just the first set of classes that she's doing starting next Monday. So she wants to know if you're interested in that. Again, you can contact your product specialist or contact training, and they'll tell you exactly what's going on with the classes throughout the year. Great question. Will MagnaCon virtual viewers be certified for attending, or will they need to complete testing? I don't think that's a great question. Perhaps Emily or you can send that to education@magnawavepmf.com, and they will tell you exactly how that works if you attend virtually. When people attend in in person, we know they're there, they're in the room, they're hearing, they're interacting, they're doing it. And so we want you to watch the video. So there may be a way that when you have the videos that we can see that you've watched the videos and are learning and growing from the content that's available. And they will certainly answer probably right here in the chat box as we proceed. Does the BrainTap offer any benefits for people who have had a stroke? Well, that's a great question. Stroke, you have a lot of mental capabilities that you're dealing with, and you want to have the brain functioning as well as possible, and you want the brain to be nourished as much as possible with good thoughts, good words, good light through into the brain. And we've used MagnaWave for stroke type of situations, and certainly the light and the whole thing can be used for stroke recovery. Again, talk with your doctor, and I'm sure it's covered. But yes, there probably are certain benefits to the brain. Certainly, if we're dealing with depression, with the BrainTap, for someone who feels better with the depression, or they're treating anxiety or something like that, those are common problems that are a result of a stroke. And so you want to be in good mental state as you can be as your brain is healing and your body is getting back to where you want it to be. So most certainly BrainTap could be beneficial for those types of situations. Let's see. Any updates on Health Canada Ed? Yeah, Rob, we are in the process. As you know, the goal is to have every device that we have safety tested, every device manufactured in a FDA approved facility, and every device in a manner that meets what they call ISO 13 or 14385 or 13485. I forget. I get those, my dyslexia jumps in there and I get those two numbers turned around. But once we have all of those in place, and we're having several of those requirements that will be in place, certainly in the first quarter, which we're coming up on here being over, but in the early and mid second quarter, we're going to be in a position to work more closely with Health Canada, and that is certainly on the notepad and to be completed this year for sure. If we can do that, when you're dealing with these agencies, sometimes their forms and what they require takes some time, and so. But yes, we are working on that every day to get closer to being able to have Health Canada approval, CE for Europe, and certainly FDA registrations here in the United States for the devices. That's where we are with that. Will it help with ADD? You're talking about BrainTap. Yes, there are programs that deal with ADHD and ADD and anxiety and the whole 9 yards. So there's a lot of programs available for you in the BrainTap library of uses and programs. Hello from Cape Cod, Colorado. I had a potential client tell me that a MagnaWave machine wasn't powerful enough, so she tried a machine called a P3 that was being used by a cutting horse trainer. Is P3 also PEMF? She claimed that it was the parent company of MagnaWave. What do you know about it? Thanks. Okay. P3, the Papimi machine, is the device that came in the United States in the early 80s. And the P3 was a knockoff of the Papimi machine here in the United States. The difference between the P3 and the MagnaWave is that when you control the MagnaWave by turning up the dial, turning down the dial, or using the push button on the new membrane switch controls to make the power more or less. And that's one of the things. I used the P3 back in 2005, 2006 when I was just learning about this. I was doing PEMF, but learning about this more high-powered equipment. And I'm not knocking the P3. It works fine. It's a PEMF device, and it's out there. I think they're still making them. I'm not totally sure if they're still manufactured, but that's neither here nor there. That's what the machine does, and you control it by moving the coil closer and further away from the animal. I didn't like that because I had a situation one time where we were treating a horse, and the horse backed into the coil and got the highest energy that could be released from the coil and startled the horse and put us in kind of a compromising, dangerous situation. We'd rather be able to control the intensity with a knob on the device. The our machines, it's very difficult to measure the exact power on these machines and what they're producing, and there's virtually no difference between the P3, the MagnaWave Maxx, the Julian, or some of those machines when you get into the higher powered machines. They're all virtually, might one be 10,000 Gauss and the other one 9,000 Gauss, depending on the coil, and that's what makes a difference. The coil, each coil changes the Gauss output of the device, so it's a very hard question to answer. The P3, for example, in my recollection, has been that it's one coil, and again, move it back and forth. When you put the paddle on our devices, you greatly increase the intensity that's being delivered, and yet it's still more comfortable. So the strength is not an issue. The MagnaWave devices will do whatever someone with the P3 will tell you that it will do. Again, the P3, again, I think it's still being manufactured, but I'm not sure. They are not the parent company of MagnaWave. They were not the first provider in the United States of PEMF therapy. I'm not knocking them. I'm just giving you some of the background. It was first the Papimi machine from Greece that came in the United States, went to the West Coast, and then the P3 came shortly thereafter as someone in the United States started figuring out a way, not figuring out, but basically knocked off the Papimi, which it was a big difference, because the P3 and our first machines weighed 35 to 50 pounds, that type of thing. The P3, I believe, weighed about 50 to 60 pounds. The Papimi weighed 250 pounds and looked like a refrigerator. And so they made tremendous strides. And we've done that over the years, as we've developed and improved on the PEMF delivery and the devices. And as you know, with the training and the registrations and all that we're trying to do to be totally open, transparent, and working within the confines of the Federal Trade Commission and the Federal Drug Administration to have devices that are safe, good, and can be utilized. We have some exciting news on a study that we've been working on, that we started really finalizing, working on last week. Can't say anything about it just yet, but it's breakthrough in terms of the conditions that we'll be dealing with in the study, double-blind study that's going to be performed, and we're excited about that, and we will give you more information on that. Okay, thanks for the question on the P3. I hope I didn't get too windy. Special ed teacher by day and have been doing a lot of reading up on this. Oh, probably Nola. I don't know what Nola was talking about there. She probably picked up from another conversation. Let's see here. Can you use BrainTap on animals? No, there's really no way. I mean, it's designed with the spoken word and the light on the eyes and that type of thing. Now, to that end, if you wanted to use the LZR and put it on the brain area and get the light that will refract into the brain area and help the flow and the oxygenation, so on and so forth, from that perspective, you could do that. But the BrainTap, now I don't know, someone may have figured a way to, I mean, you can put the people sunglasses on their dog and so forth, but you want to close your eyes when you're in the BrainTap. You don't want your eyes open. And so it may be difficult to control the animal's eyes if you were to put the light over the eye on an animal, and that's not necessarily the safest thing to do with regard to keeping everything good and safe with the light in the eye. So I wouldn't think that you could use it on the eye. Wow. Let's see. So many benefits. Somebody's talking about the BrainTap. A lot of BrainTap discussion today. Okay. Would it be beneficial for a lot of my clients to come to my office? Oh, it would be beneficial. Okay. Is the BrainTap a standalone product, or does it need to be attached to another device? No, the BrainTap is a full standalone product, just like the MagnaWave is, and just like the LZR light therapy device is. And so you can use them in concert, or you can use them independently, and we've done that a lot. Where on does the BrainTap, we do that with the Wave Oasis and the vibration and the PEMF on the mats, is to get good relaxation promoted with the PEMF, get the mental stimulation and the verbal support of your system with of your brain and your mind with the BrainTap, and do all of this in concert. And we've seen wonderful results in those types of situations. Let's see, Judy, hello from Maine. Would treatment times and results vary significantly between the Soul and the Soul Pro, considering upgrading? The Soul and the Soul Pro are so similar that you really don't have longer treatment times with the Soul over the Soul Pro. The Soul Pro is just a little bit up the ladder from the Soul, and how it's controlled and what it can do. So that's the primary difference at this point. So, you talk to your product specialist, and they can really explain to you where we are with those devices, where we're going to be with those devices 12 months, 2 years down the road with regard to the registrations. They can bring you up to speed on those situations. Yes, Felicia, add BrainTap to your arsenal of products. Karen's in Florida. Hello from Florida. How do you use the BrainTap and the MagnaWave together? I just kind of went over that, but you might have a pad or the coil on your back and neck, and then be doing the BrainTap at the same time. Or what we like to do in many cases is do the BrainTap and then do a treatment of MagnaWave for relaxation and good blood flow and so forth. And it's just like getting a massage and having someone talk to you after your massage or during your massage to help brain development and focus and those types of things. So they would very much work together. I have a horse with a severe pre-race anxiety. I use the wind down protocol on her, and it helps her some. Is there any other protocol I can be doing to ease her? Well, the wind down protocol is excellent. You might also try treating the legs, treat the front legs, and that is quite often very relaxing to the animal in conjunction with the wind down protocol, perhaps. There's the aspirin spot on the hock, to where you can the aspirin pinpoint spot on the hock, that you can treat that area. So it just is also very relaxing. So you can do a combination of those to help the animal. When you do it is important, and that's something that we wanted to talk about when you talk about pre-race. There are the new HISA regulations that are coming out for the horse racing industry, and basically their position on PEMF and MagnaWave type of therapies is 48 hours before post time or before the race. So it's 2 days out basically to be able to utilize in these new rule settings. And some people were afraid that they were going to ban certain things, and they are banning things, but there are certain substances that they don't want you giving at all with regard to medication and so forth. But it looks like the ruling that the Federal Trade Commission had approved just the other day, just Thursday or Friday, the Federal Trade Commission basically approved the HISA standards or the HISA standards that they had prepared and written. And as far as PEMF, I read the whole document on Saturday. As far as the PEMF or the magnetic types of therapies, it's 48 hours post time. So wherever that is, 48 hours between post time is when you can last administer those things. To that end, if you're treating racehorses, keep records. Put them in your app that I treated this horse this date at this time, and because if somebody comes up and say, "What'd you do? When did you treat that horse?" You have it. The only thing that has to be recorded and turned into the state veterinarian is shockwave, and there are definite distinctions on when they can use shockwave and other electric therapies in that regard, and they have to notify the state veterinarian. It did not require that for what we do and how it applies, but you do need to keep good records so somebody doesn't say, "Oh, they were doing this," and you can say, "It's right here. I did it right here, and it's time stamped," and away you go. So my recommendations for the wind down or to relax the animal. And again, try that. You may find that your horse, when you do those things, will do very well if you do it 2 days out. And the more you do, perhaps you might want to do a very good treatment along with those areas for relaxation. A good 30, 45-minute treatment. Make sure you cover those areas so it holds and the animal is very the way you want it for the race when that time comes. Okay, let's see. Pain party, love that. There you go. I want to tell you a pain story. I think you'll love this. I'm putting it in my talk that I'm giving at a conference here later this month. But where I stay in Florida, there are some very interesting people here, and they've done some very interesting things. And so we talk about to what lengths someone will go when they're experiencing pain. This woman and what this woman and her husband did is they invented as what we call them peanuts or packing peanuts or packing popcorn, the little pellets that they're using for packing and things protected in shipping. They developed those to be able to move nuclear warheads safely around the world. And that's what they did for a long time. And then their contract didn't run out, but their time frame that they were then allowed to move it into the public sector. And so these all of a sudden, bingo, here come all the packing pellets. Anyway, so this gal, senior and having some issues. Actually, she got knocked down by a large dog and it had some intestinal problems and things like that. And so she was having some trouble. And so she was in the hospital. And you talk about what people will do for pain relief. She's in the hospital and, she had the little pump thing to pump it every 30 minutes or whatever it is to get your pain relief. And that wasn't working. She had worn that baby out. It just was not going. And so she kept saying, I need some help. I need some and she'd call the nurses station on the telephone and she'd punch the button for the nurses to come, and they were busy. And so I don't know if any of you figured out what I'm talking about, but what she did and it's incredible. But what she did is she picked up her phone in the hospital and called 911. And if you don't think that was an issue, when the ambulance shows up and running up to the front door and up the elevator to the room, and they got some attention, and so they took care of her with her pain from that point on. But if you can imagine somebody dialing 911, that's just from the hospital, just pretty amazing. Okay, let's see. That's what people will do to help with their pain. Let's see. Let's check and see if we've had anybody on the phone over here. Nope. Well, let's see. 10. Is that today? Oh, no, that's not today. Okay. Well, no phone calls. That's okay. Let's come back over here to this and have a look. 502-414-3436. Where can we buy virtual tickets? Website only shows in-person tickets. Well, you should be able to find them at MagnaCon.com. And we're going to check right now to make sure that it's there. You might try refreshing your browser because sometimes you're getting a cached page that maybe only had the in-person tickets at one point. So try emptying your cache on your computer or refreshing your page when you get there, and hopefully it'll be there for you. But that's where it should be. Let's see here. Is there training for the BrainTap? It comes with a full training manual. I also believe there is some training in the MagnaCon practitioner portal for the BrainTap, and we certainly want you to get all of that type of experience. Will you be giving away any prizes to virtual attendees at MagnaCon? Yes, we're going to give away a machine, and for the virtual attendees at MagnaCon. So I don't know which machine we're going to be giving away at this point yet, but we are going to give away a new machine to a virtual attendee. And so then we're going to give a bunch of other stuff for the people that are in person, but we're not going to split it out that the virtual attendees don't get the opportunity to win a machine. Could this help someone with a brain tumor? If you're talking about the BrainTap, certainly you'd want to talk with docs as to what's going on and how things can be evaluated. And there's a lot of things things happening in the space with PEMF and tumors, and that I was talking about a little while ago, and there'll be more thoughts on that. But you talk to your doctor, do some research to see what's out there, and you may be pleasantly surprised what you find as to how things can be addressed. Okay. Let's see. I'm an authorized BrainTap provider. If anyone would like to try the app without the headset, I can send you a 15-day free trial. Kristen's got that. She's posted it. Perfect. If I was just certified about 2 months ago, when will I have to complete continuing education? You see, I kind of get out of contact with where we are on the education process. I know it's been 2 years. I don't know if they've switched to a 1-year process because of the meetings that we have. In order to renew, they will put that information, answer to you right here in the chat box, and you'll have that information. I have a few racehorses that I work on that are bleeders. We are starting to MagnaWave them before their first breezes to help stay on top of it. Other than a whole body treatment and lungs, any thoughts would be appreciated. You certainly want to do a whole body, but you want to do the esophagus. You want to do their area where they're breathing, how that works. Their throat as they're breathing, the upper lobes of the lungs, and just to make sure that it's ready to go. When you do it is the key to each individual animal. And so you want to make sure that you do that. And that could be a situation, if you look at the new HISA rulings that say 24 hours out before a race that you have to stop that type of treatment, you might want to change, and instead of doing it once before the race, you might do it 2 or 3 times to treat the lungs and the throat and the breathing area of the esophagus before time that you have to stop. That's when those rules are implemented in June, I believe. Let's see. How should you sanitize your MagnaWave after use so not to damage the system? Well, you want to use what I used to do. You can use wipes, cleaning wipes, sanitary wipe. Some people have carry around a little washcloth that's been soaked in bleach and water that's calm enough to use on your hands, and wipe your coils down in that fashion, and keep it clean from that type of situation. Keep your machine blown out so it remains clean on the inside would be the thing that I would recommend. Is there a big difference between feeling wise between the Maxx is there a big difference feeling wise between the Maxx and the Julian? No. There is a little difference in how the Maxx delivers its signal in terms basically down to the number of clicks per second or fires per second, but they're really very close in the feeling and how the signal is delivered. Can MagnaWave help with a hernia? Most certainly, it's going to help the body to be in a position to better heal itself. So creating a wellness type of application to get improved oxygenation, which is going to help. Now, it's not going to close the hernia. It's going to it can relieve some pain, certainly, and discomfort that the hernia may cause. But it's not going to change the physical aspect or of the hernia. That's going to need to be repaired. And now, if you've got maybe not a full hernia, but a stretching of the muscle of the tissue to where the hernia could occur, and so you're using a MagnaWave to help the inflammation there and help that situation heal and be improved, that could certainly happen to maintain that type of or improve that type of situation. But if there's an anatomical damage, when you've got a tear or an opening that the hernia is certainly there, you're going to have that surgically repaired. But then the healing process can be improved and are aided by the well-being and the blood flow and the oxygenation. Leslie, thank you for your comments on the Soul Pro. Let's see, I purchased my MagnaWave machine last year, but haven't had the opportunity to do a complete certification. Is there a time limit for when I need to complete the certification by? No. That my current understanding is no, not a time limit. What you might want to do though is just to make sure that everything's up to speed. You're in the right portal. We have changed portals, so your link that you have, if it's been a length of time, may not get you into where you need to be. So you'd want to contact the sales department or contact the training department, Teresa or Carson in training, and they will give you the right information to get into the certification portal and get the information that you're looking for, you'd like to have. How do you use both MagnaWave machine and also BrainTap together, or do you use them at different times? We talked about that a few minutes ago, Mary Beth, but basically you would use either way. You do have a signal, the magnetic signal and the light and so forth from the BrainTap, and you don't want those to interfere, and they typically don't, but it depends how strong you're running your MagnaWave machine. So to utilize it now, if you're going to treat your low back and do the BrainTap, you're in good shape. If you're going to treat your lungs and the BrainTap, you're in good shape. If you're going to put the coil over your head and you put the goggle or you put the headpiece on with the BrainTap, you're really close together, and you could get a little interference into the BrainTap area. So just keep that in mind, and common sense works with the best way to utilize them. Remember that if you're looking for good relaxation and blood flow in your body, and you put the coil on your low back, or you sit on the coil with your buttocks, and you're just keeping all the blood flowing throughout your body, that's a good thing. You can help your shoulder by treating your low back because of the good blood flow that you're creating as you go forward. So I hope that helps. Let's see. I've been looking at purchasing a machine and looking at either the Julian or the Julian Duo. Can you help tell a little bit more about the difference between them? I'm having a hard time deciding. Both are great. Well, the biggest difference between those two devices is one treats one location at a time. Now, you could use a splitter, but basically, I'm not talking about the splitter because then you'd have power situations that you lose. But the Julian comes with the attachments that come with it, and you can use it at one time on your low back or on your shoulder or on that, treat the animal with one coil. If you have the Duo, you could be treating the animal, you're treating the whole horse and still treating its foot at the same time with the other side of the machine. There's two machines in one case when you're dealing with the Duo, and that is the primary difference. The Julian, one attachment at a time. The Duo, two attachments at the time. So you could be doing, as I said, the top line and the overall body of the horse and still be treating the foot or the knee at a totally different setting. You might want a higher setting on the knee that you would not use when you're treating the overall body. So you can use the two coils at the same time at two different settings. That's the primary difference. It really just improves versatility for what you're wanting to provide. So if you want to be more versatile, then the Duo would be the way to go. If you're with the Duo, you could conceivably be in a situation that, depending how the horses are situated, you could be treating two horses at the same time. If you had an assistant and you have it set up in a wash bay, for example, and you had two horses, you could be treating two horses conceivably at one time. Or you could certainly be treating this horse full body and the knee of this horse over here. So that really just gives you some freedom of versatility when you're working with the animals. And the same thing, if you're doing small animals, you could do two dogs, or you could do one dog in two different locations. So the Duo is just very versatile and really expands how you can use the device. Not trying to sell you on either one, because all I've ever had over all of my years was one machine. Worked great. I loved it. Still pretty much operate that way in the devices that I have with me as I travel around the country. I don't have the Duo with me. I just haven't had one. But I'm looking forward to maybe getting a hold of one and doing that. And we're starting to do some work with some of the NASCAR teams, and I put the Duo with them so they could, if they're in the NASCAR world, you think, well, it's the driver. No, it's the crew people, the people that are changing the tires and doing the work on the car and the pit stops that twist the rank, have sore backs, and do all those things. I mean, that fuel tank alone is quite heavy. So we set them up with a Duo that they can treat two crew members at one time, or they can use it in that fashion, much like some of the NFL teams do as they're using particular devices. Okay. Good afternoon, Lisa Marie. Dawn's with us from Common Sense Healing. March 17th is my birthday. That's my birthday, Leslie. March 17th, St. Patty's Day. There you go. Going to have a good day that day. What is the dress code MagnaCon? Casual. Just casual. I mean, you don't have to be dressed up, and whatever you're comfortable. We've had folks come very casual, and we've had folks come very dressed up. So it's whatever you're comfortable with, and however you want to meet yourself. Professional, I would say professional casual, because if you're going to meet folks and learn from them, and you want to present yourself in a fashion that is good, so I'd say professional casual, just to look good. It's important for your business every day to look good, to be uniform, if you will, not in a uniform, but just project let your clothing project your professionalism and what you're doing. Okay, love the month of March. Happy early birthday, thank you. Lisa Marie's is the 15th. Are tickets available for just the dinner trip to Churchill Downs? I don't know what the breakdown on that is, but at this juncture, I think you come to MagnaCon and you get to go to Churchill Downs. If we sold tickets just for Churchill Downs, then we could be out of tickets, where people who are attending have trouble having the tickets that we want them to have. So initially, if you come to MagnaCon, you get tickets to come to Churchill Downs, and do it that way. Now, if you have an extenuating circumstance, or you have somebody that's going to join you, and you can call the office and maybe get an extra ticket or two that you might need for guests or something, if they're available, that could certainly be dealt with. Okay, I rented a Spiro and noticed that the clicking is way slower than any setting on my Soul. Well, the Spiro is a digital machine, and the Soul is wait a minute, let me get this right. Spiro's digital, the Soul is analog. And so there will be a difference in the clicking speed. There'll be a difference in the power delivery. But in terms of the type of signal that's being delivered, they're doing the same thing. That has been an issue that people have dealt with. When we first started having digital machines, you got to remember that we were 10 or 12 years with only analog. And so all of a sudden we had a digital, and somebody would try a digital or buy a digital, and they'd say, wait a minute, I grew up on this Maxx machine, and that's what I've used, and this thing is totally different. You have to really work with your mind to understand that even though they may be clicking differently, your result is still there, and you just have to learn to discern the two devices as you're using them, to be comfortable with the fact that one's digital and one is analog, and that will come. But in terms of the signal that's being delivered, they're doing the same type of signal. Now, there is a power difference between the Spiro and the Soul. The Spiro is not as strong as the Soul. It's close, but it's not as strong as the Soul. So that's a little different as well, as far as the time that you're going to treat and what you're doing. But it's just a matter of, over time. I used to say, treat 50 horses and you're going to understand how these horses are communicating with you. You have the same thing. If you're using an analog machine and a digital machine, you got to just do the treatments, learn what's different, and make them come together. I can tell you that people who've never experienced an analog machine and have a digital machine, they quite often say, I don't want an analog machine. I like my digital, because that's what they learned on. That's what, as I say, grew up on, and that's the type of machine that they're using. Hope that helps. My understanding is that cancer cells vibrate at a lower frequency, so using our PMF that's tuned to the Schumann resonance cannot promote the growth of cancer or diseased cells. There are peer-reviewed published studies showing the energetic help signal broadcast from the cell. It's no longer a mysterious quantum theory. So why aren't referencing those in our practitioner portal? Is there any contradictory data we should know about any MagnaWave sponsored cancer studies yet? Okay. Wow, that's a very deep question. To kind of go back to the studies that have been done over the years, if you go back to the hundreds of studies that were done before we had high intensity machines like we have with the MagnaWave, and then lower low voltage, low frequency devices of machines that have been used for a long time, that have been used in a lot of the preliminary studies that you're reading about, operated in that fashion, had results in that fashion, and are supportive of those types of results that they're looking for or that they're reporting. The issue comes down to the speed. And I've had conversations for years with veterinarians talking about cancer and treating an animal and doing something. And they would say, oh, this might spread the cancer and this might do that. And then, so my question is, wait, you got an animal that has a cancerous type situation or a tumor, and if it runs and it increases its blood flow and increases its blood activity and the blood oxygen, or just all of that going on, that's not going to potentially spread that type situation. So, and then they would say, oh, well, okay, so you can walk around the block, you can exercise when you have these types of situations, and that's been dealt with. Now, coming to the higher power machines like we have with the MagnaWave devices, what we call high voltage, low frequency types of devices. People have said that, they've wondered about that. We've had many veterinarians who have used these devices, Dr. Marty being one, and have watched tumors decrease immediately, not over a long period of time, but immediately. And there are some studies that we are working on in the field of cancer, dealing with the amount of chemotherapy, the amount of time that the devices are used. Very few studies have been performed with the high voltage, low frequency devices because they've really only been around for a few years in terms of the history of things going on. So these studies are in the works. They are being planned. We have some, from our perspective as MagnaWave, in the works. We are believers in, and you'll see people do this. And for example, there were some devices that have been used in the veterinary space that they say, well, they're FDA approved, so we can use them in the veterinary space. Well, actually, they were FDA approved for teeth work in humans, but they are FDA approved. And so someone could say this is an FDA approved device, but they're using it to heal wounds on an animal or to close wounds on an animal from the laser perspective. And so we believe that if we're really going to jump behind the study, or if we really want to make claims as we go down the road and we can say things, we want to have the studies performed with our equipment. We've done some of that with our equipment in the past in Cuba. We participated in some studies there because it was cheaper back in a time that we had to worry about what those things cost and how to approach them as you build your credibility and build up your business from that perspective. So there are studies coming with our equipment in those areas. On the veterinary side, we have seen great results with that. And there's not been a lot of substantiation at all that we've been able to find that because that it only takes, here's what happens when you've had these studies. For example, the NASA study. When Dr. Dennis did the NASA study and put that together, he selected 10 hertz for his delivery. Now, when he was at MagnaCon and he was talking about that, it was very clear. I chose 10 hertz arbitrarily. I think I could have used 5 hertz, 20 hertz, 15 hertz, 10 hertz, whatever it is. He chose 10, did the study, achieved the results that he accomplished or achieved through that study. Well, what happens is somebody says, it's got to be 10 hertz. And if it's not 10 hertz, then it's not going to work right, or it's going to cause something that we're not looking for. Those types of situations have not been totally substantiated as to what they are and or how they would apply. And so that quite often happens. And what we've learned over the years as we have worked with doctors and talked about these types of situations is the best way to do it is to do it with the equipment that you have, that you want to proceed with, and have it documented, do a double blind, or at least do a study that is can be formulated and recorded, and then replicable. You want to be able to replicate that study again. And again, so that's, I know I've been all over the board and we're about out of time here, but hoping to approach that type of situation. So yes, we are working diligently to do more studies utilizing our equipment for the benefit of the PEMF and for the benefit of the industry, that type of thing. And so that's where we are there. And and English human resonance works, and what it does for the various situations, and how the high voltage, lower frequency machines work with regard in animals, that's been recorded and checked out with regard to. Elaine has a great testimonial that he did with her. They lost their dog, but for years they had great health and prolonged that animal's life tremendously utilizing the PEMF, and they had tumors there that they were dealing with, and the veterinarian couldn't believe it when they came back and the tumors were basically gone, down to the size of a quarter from the size of a grapefruit, that they were able to surgically remove, and basically gave the dog a new life. And so those are the things that we're dealing with in the veterinary space, and want to learn from and develop and go forward as we have human machines and we move down those roads. But hope that helps with that question, Cheryl. Thank you for asking. Okay, we're really getting close here. Let's see if we've great questions today. Oh, we have to pick a number. And we've had a lot of comments, and I guarantee you they've been all over the board. So let's say, I'm trying to remember what number we picked last time. Here's the number. Well, I don't want it to be too low. But anyway, the number for today, because my birthday's coming up, and I'm not going to give it away, but it's a 7 and a 3. So the number is 73 that we're going to pick today. So Tony, if you guys can, you think you can accomplish that, we can announce who the winner is? They're working on it. Let's see. Yeah, I've done a virtual and in person. And in person was the best. We love to have people in person with us at MagnaWave and at MagnaCon. Let's see. We just rescued a 1.5-year-old Great Dane with wobbles disease. What do you recommend would be the best protocol for him with MagnaWave and the LZR? The LZR is going to be a little more difficult because you want to get it through, but you want to treat the spinal area, and you want to treat the head. You want to separate the hair if you're using the LZR. But good overall body treatments of the animal will help with the blood flow, the oxygenation, help balance the body, keep the cells healthy. All of that's necessary when you start dealing with those types of situations and indications that you're dealing with. And I will say, I had a whole list of questions today that have been accumulating, and I'll get to those next week. But the questions today that have been presented here are just wonderful. I have a client suffering from itching, burning rash under the left breast. It's moving up her armpit and upper arm. Her chiropractor thinks it is referring from the tissues in her thoracic spine. Suggestions on how to treat. Well, you certainly talk to your doctor and that type of thing, and you don't do anything, and we can't make any claims about what can happen. But again, good blood flow, good general wellness can help those areas. I know people that have had struggled with their wellness from not hives. There's Dr. Bard calling me. I got to call him back. But what is it? The chicken pox and shingles. And so there again, you treat that area, and you can have an improved reduction of inflammation, which is going to take away the itching and that type of, or reduce the itching and that type of situation to do that. If it is an open rash, certainly a silver water hydrowave type material that can be applied to any topical that will aid in the inflammation reduction and the relief of itching would be beneficial. And then the MagnaWave can help push it into the tissue, which should be beneficial to that. Deal with the doctor. All we're talking about is helping the body be more well and feel good to heal itself. When you're dealing with arthritis types of conditions, Certainly, arthritis in your animals, for example, is a buildup of calcium around the joints, and you want to improve that. Well, many times you want to do the area where you're having the problem, then do the overall body, do the head, the neck, to get good blood flow throughout the body and the animal, and things can be very, very well handled. Let's see. The winner is who? Where'd it go? Let me pull this back up. Tony Rawlings. Mary Beth Lucius is the winner. Mary Beth Lucius, Lucius, is the winner of the BrainTap. Mary Beth, congratulations. Thank you for commenting. And we're glad that you are going to enjoy your BrainTap, certainly. Mary Beth, thanks for being with us. Okay, we are out of time, and I'm so glad that you were with us today. Thank you so much. It's always a joy to spend time with you. As I love to say, wave on to better health and go all the way with MagnaWave. Have a great day, a great week. We love you guys. See ya. Bye-bye.